Good afternoon, Niles, and welcome back to another episode of Niles Voice of Business. Thank you for joining us today. This live stream will feature interviews with local business owners and professionals to provide resources and insights for the businesses of Niles. Today we have Sasha Vasilic from Niles-Maine District Library, whom is the public relations, well, can't wrap my mouth around that one today, and marketing supervisor at the Niles-Maine District Library. Thank you for joining us today, Sasha. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Chase. And thank you to both you and Alicia for including the library in this wonderful series.
Of course, you are a valuable resource. And so we definitely wanted to connect and kind of talk about how the past couple of months have been going for you. First, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are?
Sure. So as you mentioned, first of all, I want to say hello to everyone who's watching this live stream right now. So my name is Sasha Vasilic. I'm the head of public relations and marketing here at the library. Believe it or not, I've been at the library for more than 15 years. You may be thinking that I started when I was 10 years old, but I actually started working in our patron services department when I was in college. And one of my main responsibilities at that time was to check in and out books. That department has expanded a lot more since when I started, many more services. But when I was in patron service, I was mostly checking in and out books and shelving materials. And after I received my degree in communication, I started volunteering in the public relations and marketing office and slowly worked my way up. And I've been the supervisor of the department for the past 5.5 years, I would say.
Wow, 15 years. So you definitely have seen some things. Anything like the past couple of months have thrown your way?
No. As you can imagine, no. I mean, I've been here for a lot of changes. Here for the most recent renovation, which was a ginormous project. I mean, we've seen some big projects here at the library in the past, X amount of years, but I have never experienced what was handed into our laps in mid-March. That was definitely a new experience for me.
Yeah, and within that, I would love to kind of dig into, how have things been going and what resources have you added and some things that have pivoted? Can you tell us just a little bit about, that experience?
Absolutely. I would say that our experience with the stay-at-home order and quarantining was a unique one. But I think one that a lot of the local organization and businesses in the community experienced. As you can imagine, the library is a very in-person interacting with our library patrons every minute that we're open. So that was probably the biggest change for us. And with that said, we did have to, kind of flip our whole way of working once we all had to be at home. And even though the library, for many, many, many years has offered online resources and has had an online platform, this was the first time that we had to be exclusively online because there was nobody in the building. So I would say probably right when we knew we were going to start going home, we were planning on I would say we were starting to listen as everybody was on social media or even contacting library administration and kind of listening to what the community's needs were. Obviously at that time, that's when e-learning started. So kind of listening into how can the library help the parents, the teachers, the kids that are at home? How can we serve patrons that we're so used to interacting and talking to the library staff? There are many patrons that probably, communicating with the library staff is their only form of communication for the day. Everybody needs that human interaction. So we, went straight into figuring out our plan. And one of probably the main things that we went straight to was increasing the usage of online resources, making sure that we were able to expand on things that maybe had limits before, like let's say download limits on ebooks or downloading, movies or music, to make sure to up those, because we knew that, patrons were going to be on their phones, they were going to be on their computers, they're going to be watching, TV, to make sure that they were still able to access as many library services as possible.
Right. Yeah. Like we tell our businesses, your storefront has now become, digital space. So your website is now your storefront, and vice versa. So That's great to hear. But within those online offerings and services, can you expand about what kind of services are being provided? I know that you have a Homebound deliveries and some other things that have pivoted. Would love to hear more about those.
Absolutely. I did first want to just start about any of the online resources, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
I can only speak for this library, but many libraries have changed over the years. I would like to say that the library that you knew as a kid is not what the Niles-Maine District Library is anymore. And it's not even because I work here. I mean, all of our services, what we offer is everything's on our website. You can call us, you can ask us, and so forth. Is we really, really offer robust online resources. I would say, like, here's one example. Have you ever heard of lynda.com?
I haven't, no.
So lynda.com is what I would like to call like a mainstream resource where professionals, I think they work through lynda.com, and they create online tutorials of all sorts of different subjects. So everything from like how to up your graphic design skills to learning photography. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head how much the service is if you paid it on your own, but the library has a subscription to lynda.com, and all you need is your library card to access it from home.
Wow.
So, and these are, professionals in those fields that are teaching. And what's great is after you finish the tutorial, there's even like a certificate that you could show your boss to show them that like I went through the Microsoft tutorial and, I passed it and so forth.
Wow.
I would probably also say with like the Netflix of the world and the downloading of music and all that such, just to kind of touch on that for a little bit. We do have services for streaming music. We do have services for streaming movies, TV shows, and so forth. And all, if you have a library card right now and you're watching this live, please go to our website, nileslibrary.org, and you will be able to find all of these resources right in front of you. Even there's one of my favorites that I have to say is an online resource called Flipster, and it's exclusively magazines. So the magazines that you see when you're at the grocery store or at the airport or wherever, many of those, including People, cooking magazines, sports magazines, and so forth. You can, and I believe that there's no limit. So literally every time that they get updated and are on the shelves, they get updated and this resource actually has an app. So you could literally be in the
Wow. I could save myself some money. I subscribe to at least 6 different magazines, in which typically end up on my coffee table and don't usually get read, but could save myself some money by taking advantage of that. So I put the link that Sasha described, the nileslibrary.org, down here. If they go to this link and they don't already have a Niles Library card, are they able to apply here as well?
Absolutely. One of the we've had a service where you could sign up for a library card online prior to the pandemic, but we made that form even simpler. So if you go on our homepage, there's the carousel that's like the slideshow that spins. You'll see in there one of them that is about getting a library card. So once you fill out that form, we will email you within 48 hours your actual library card number, and then mail you the physical one so that you could keep it in your wallet and your purse and so forth. Wow. So you don't have to even come to the library to get a library card, but you must live in the district. And one of the things that we hear a lot about is the confusion about who the library serves. And we changed our name in 2017 to make it more clear. We used to be the Niles Public Library District, and now we're the Niles-Maine Library District, because we serve the village of Niles, which is 50% of our district, and the other 50% is part of Maine Township, which is where the Maine comes in, and that's unincorporated Des Plaines and unincorporated Glenview. So even if you look at your mail and it says Des Plaines or it says Glenview, you still may be able to get a library card at the Niles-Maine District Library. So please reach out to us if you're questioning that. If you do fill out the form and we check in our database whether or not you are in the district, we will let you know. Unfortunately, you aren't. But I just wanted to clarify that it's not just people that live in Niles. So about 59,000 residents, I believe, is the number. So so you may be in our district and you don't even know.
So in terms of the changes and some of the pivoting that the library has had to do in terms of meeting needs, can you say that there's a few things that you're going to keep with you as you move forward into 2020 and 2021?
Absolutely. I mean, we will continue to listen to the needs of the community, especially now that school started back up. And like I said, listening closely to what our community wants. So please let us know if you're watching this. Please let us know if there is an online resource that you think that you would have to pay out of pocket that we know that the vast community would be interested in. We would definitely consider that, and that's very, very important to us. One of the features that we added to our website while in the pandemic was a live chat feature, which we have not had before, and it's open 7 days a week. I believe it's from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., where you will always be able to ask a librarian a question, whether it be a reference question, whether you missed what our hours are on the website and you want to ask it, whether you want to further details on how to apply for a library card and so forth. That is a feature that we will definitely keep because we've had so many questions on there. Even prior to this live chat, you could email us, but nothing compared to how many people saw that little live chat icon in the lower corner of their screen and would ask their questions. So we're very, very happy with how that's been going. One other thing that I want to mention is patrons, really, really missed having in-person programs. So while we continue to watch the numbers and see where Illinois is headed with the phases, we did start during the stay-at-home order offering virtual programs, and those have been very, very successful, I have to say. One mention that I want to say is a lot of parents, guardians, grandparents were used to coming in. I think we have like maybe 5 or 6 weekly story times for kids, and they can come into the children's department to be a part of. So all of those have moved virtually and have shown great success. Even with, you would think that like a kid watching a screen or something that they wouldn't be interested, but I'm hearing from the children's librarians how engaged the kids are. So we're very happy to hear about that. We did a couple of months ago have a great program that definitely resonates with the nostalgic folks in the community. It was Remembering Kittyland was the program, and it was a presentation from a Kittyland historian, I guess we could call her that. And I think we had at least over 100 people that attended the virtual program. So we are definitely trying to find what are the topics that our patrons would be interested in. And there are so many. I'm just sharing a couple that I kind of think at the top of my head, but I think we've had, job seeker things. We've had technology programs. We've had even drawing programs, or one of our librarians who knows how to draw through Zoom is having like drawing workshops for kids. So we're really trying to have what people would be used to in person and bring that online to the best of our ability. We definitely understand that doing a craft or something could be a little bit of a challenge online, especially if you don't have the materials, but we are trying our best to make sure that our virtual programs are, to make it feel like you're not missing out on anything that you're used to.
And I honestly have to say, based on my personal opinion and just keeping up the library, that you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I've been listening to the podcast that you guys have. That's some reading list. I'm a big reader, so it's always nice to hear of what other people are reading and their opinions of things. So that's just one of the things. But in terms of getting a schedule of the virtual programs that you guys are offering, where would be the best place for residents to find that information?
Sure. There's a few places that I would mention, and anyone can choose whatever best suits them. The first is a two-parter. We are continuing to do a print newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Sorry, not every 2 weeks, every 2 months. And the most recent one is an October-September one. So I'm sorry, an August-September one. So that one came out probably about a month ago. So expect at the end of September in your mailboxes if you are a resident of the library district for the October-November one. So we are featuring some virtual programs in there. We did cut the newsletter in half. It used to be 16 pages, but while we're in this state right now, we've cut it down to 8 pages. Okay. So there is a recommended list of virtual programs in there, but that same newsletter, the full version, is available on our website. nileslibrary.org. And it's even on our homepage, so you can find the newsletter on our homepage. For the residents' convenience, on the online version, we have linked every program to our online calendar so that it's easy for you to access more information and also to register. All programs right now are registration required and an email required in order for our librarians and staff members to email back a link to Zoom, to the Zoom platform to do the virtual program. I mentioned the website, but last but not least, and I don't know if a lot of our residents are aware of this, but the library has an app that we've had for probably about maybe a year or so, I would say. And I'm not just saying it because I work here, but it really is a great app that is so easy to use. And we have seen, I would say, probably during the pandemic, but even before, more and more of our residents using the app. So you could access the online calendar there and easily read the description of the programs and register and so forth. But it is also easy access to our catalog, so you would be able to place items on hold and see if they're available, and also any of our online resources. We've created some easy access points on the app. But I just want to mention one other thing that I really, really love about the app, which is sometimes you don't want to carry every single card in your wallet. You can actually input your library card number in the app and have an e-card, and that e-card will scan on our self-checkout machines, so you don't even have to have the card. You could literally scan your smartphone and still be able to check out items from the library.
Awesome.
I think it's really awesome.
No, that's great. In terms of the App Store or the app, would I just go to the App Store on my phone and type in Niles-Maine District Library and find it that way? Okay, great.
Yes, yeah, it's available for iOS and for Android devices.
Okay.
And I haven't used it on an iPad, but I think it is for all. I think it is for all devices.
Awesome. So you are meeting needs in every aspect possible. So I'm just going to put the website down just in case someone joined us just now. Go there and you will find all that you need to know in terms of the virtual programs and when those might be happening. Also, we'll definitely be checking out this app. I feel like that might be a great resource for us and a lot of the residents. But I know we've talked a lot about some virtual programs, and we mentioned a little bit about the homebound deliveries. And a lot of our partners here at the Chamber are some of those senior centers. So I wanted to see how that program was going and kind of the feedback that you've been getting from those residents.
Absolutely. We recently, once the library reopened, we did start to slowly work into delivering to our homebound patrons. And I want to mention for the viewers that aren't aware of that service. So the homebound delivery service has been around for many, many years. And what it is for patrons that aren't able to come to the library for a specific reason, we will deliver materials to their home. So it could be, like you said, for residents of a particular age that cannot leave their home for whatever reason. Another reason could be whether you are on short-term disability and you are unable to come to the library, or even a young family, someone who just had a baby and cannot leave their house at any given moment, or even during this time right now in this pandemic, does not want to leave with having a newborn at home. We would be more than happy to add them to the list of residents that are using the service and deliver materials to them. I do want to mention also that I did hear, even as of today, that we, like I said, are listening to the needs of the community, and we may be expanding that service a little bit more broadly. So, I look out for more details either in our newsletter, or I would suggest, because the newsletter comes out every 2 months, our website, our social media accounts for any updates on that. One other thing that I wanted to mention, because we were talking earlier about what we were doing while we were in quarantine, and one of our staff members, her name is Karen, who works in the outreach department that does the homebound deliveries. She was very, very sweet. And I mean, this just is kind of a testament to the customer service that we have here at the library. Is she, while in quarantine, kept in touch with the homebound patrons to make sure that they were okay and that they were doing well. And having a staff member like that here in this organization, I think is amazing. Yeah. Because I can only imagine, especially if you live by yourself, feeling that isolation, and to know that the library is here for them and that there is somebody that cares for them. So while we were talking about the Homebound thing, I wanted to mention
that is phenomenal. And I love hearing stories like that. Showing compassion to individuals is, far and few between sometimes, but it's always great to hear about, others caring about others, whether or not. So that's great.
I just want to mention for Homebound, there is a section on our website about the Homebound deliveries.
Okay.
But if you want to call us, our number is 847-663-1234, and just ask for the Outreach Services Department, and Karen and Leslie work in that department, and they will be more than happy to help answer more detailed questions about the service.
Beautiful. So if you're looking for homebound services and that falls within a category that you would like to take advantage of, visit the website or reach out to the number that Sasha just gave to us. In terms of the library opening back up and offering a little bit of in-person opportunities, what have those safety measures been like for you guys in terms of day-to-day operations, which I'm sure are different?
Sure. Well, first I want to mention some of the services that we do have available here. So we aren't doing any in-person programs, and there are some other services that we aren't offering for obvious reasons. But the services that we are offering are what we call no contact holds pickup. So it's not necessarily a curbside pickup as much as when you would call us when you're in front. Well, I should say, once you receive a notification that you have a hold available, then you would call us to set up a time that you would want to come to the special area that is the blue area. We've color coded the library so it's easy for people to understand where to go for things. So it is blue for no contact holds pickup. And once you arrive, you would call us, and without you getting out of your car, we would leave the bag with your materials on a table. You could see it because you're right there. We disappear and you come out and get your bag, and there's no contact. So it's not exactly curbside where we're putting something in your trunk or anything like that. But it is our spin on still being able to offer our materials to our residents and our patrons without them having to come into the building if they don't prefer to. But the flip side of that is we do offer in-person picking up of material if you have a hold. So you could pick either the no contact option or the in-person option. I do want to mention that we were the first library in this area to offer computer appointments. So that has been, as you can imagine, very popular. I think sometimes we think everyone has internet, everyone has a device, but that's not the case in every community. And we are very, very happy that we're able to offer that service as soon as we safely could. I mean, we heard all the whole time, like, can I use a computer? Can I use a computer? And, until we were ready to do that. So that's been going on, I would say, probably for about a month and a half or so. So if you are a resident of the library district, you can reserve a computer and make an appointment so that you know that at 10 o'clock or whatever time you have 1 hour to use that computer. But there is also other options for first come, first serve. If there is a computer available, you'll be able to use it. And same goes with printing, copying, scanning, faxing. All those options can be by appointment or first come, first serve. I do also want to mention our Makerspace and our Digital Media Studio are two very, very popular service locations in the library, and we have recently reopened those to one person during a session. Residents and patrons can those spaces as well. I did also want to mention one thing that's very interesting is we have changed our hours ever since we've reopened. Used to be open prior to the pandemic 7 days a week. We are now open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Monday through Friday 9 to 7, Saturdays 9 to 5. But we are closed from 12 to 2 for thorough cleaning of the library, and we are also closed the last 15 minutes of those other hours for sanitation.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so we want, we're trying everything that we can to, stop the spread of the virus, so whatever we can do here at the library. But with that said, so patrons have within the first 45 minutes to do what we are calling express checkout. So either you're picking up your hold using the self checkout and, going on with your day, or you are, but we're trying to make it, what we would like it to be is like a grocery store experience. You're most likely not, lounging around a grocery store like you used to do, or a Target, or whatever it was prior to the pandemic. But so that you're, in and out and, getting your materials and, safe as possible. And Chase, you were talking about safety and stuff. So I do want to mention that we have installed the same guidelines as most organizations and businesses that are around us. Face masks being required, washing and sanitizing your hands, many sanitizing stations throughout the library, social distancing, all the typical things that we hear about a lot. I do want to mention that the staff members are taking their temperatures upon arrival in the building to make sure that they are cleared. And that they are, that we're following all those temperature guidelines. And also, like I said, we are trying our best to be as we were always clean before, but with, the circumstances right now, really taking it seriously and making sure that anyone that comes to the library feels safe.
And that's one of the things that we've communicated to our businesses and our organizations, that you really have to be listening and also taking the measures that you feel is necessary. And I think that those are phenomenal, taking the 15 minutes every hour and that little bit of break to make sure that everything is safe, not only for the patrons that are coming in, for your employees as well, which is both super important. And in terms of the services, for the digital services, I think that is the biggest resource for Niles right now, because you are right, not everyone has access to the technology that we all might have. And I think that that'll be really important as we move forward into this year of school and identifying, where we can be utilizing these things. So that's all really great. And like I said, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and you guys are a huge resource, not only for us as the Niles Chamber and our businesses, but also for the residents of Niles. So we truly appreciate you guys and everything that you're doing. One of the things that I just wanted to wrap up on is, in terms of as we move into 2021 and as we move forward, what are some of your expectations as an employee of the library and as an organization in terms of keeping safe? I know that you talked about some of the safety measures that you have, but what are your expectations for the patrons?
Well, I would say as a staff member, I feel very safe coming into this building. The library administration has taken, like I said, all of this very, very seriously to make sure that we were all taken care of. My expectations for the patrons, as you said, is, I think as we start to normalize, I think we don't know exactly when this is all going to become normal again, right? But as we try to find our new normal, I think the patrons also would like to see some of the same things that they were used to prior to March 13th or whatever the date is everyone mentions. So, like I said, we are listening, we are trying our best, but we're trying to do everything at the right time and as possible. So please continue to let us know if you miss in-person programs, and maybe we'll get creative and do something outside. I don't know. But we are trying to do our best to serve the community. We are only here because of the community and the residents and the card holders. So we want to make sure that they continue to see us as a wonderful resource in the community.
Great. Well, Sasha, thank you so much for joining us today. I won't reiterate what I just said twice, but it goes and stands. But I will go ahead and put the Niles Library's website up here, just in case you're looking for any of the information that Sasha and I talked about today. And then the last question that I always like to ask, because I am such a foodie, where's your favorite place to eat in Niles?
My favorite place to eat in Niles, and they're always busy, so I don't know, if you don't know about them, I will tell you about them right now. My wife and I would say on a weekly basis, I don't know, am I embarrassed to say that? I don't know, but we do get it on a weekly basis, is we get Burrito House. They are located right next to Chasers on, I believe it's Ballard and Milwaukee. And in our opinion, they are the best Mexican fast food place we've ever had. Now, there are others that are also very, very good in the community. That's one that we frequent a lot. I would highly recommend the steak tacos. I do not recommend them, but they are delicious. And they started while in the pandemic to do DoorDash. So DoorDash or Grubhub, one of them. So if you still are not comfortable with leaving your home, know that they will deliver.
All right. Well, good. Well, if you didn't have dinner plans before, at least you know where you can go. Well, Sasha, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure getting to talk with you and see how the library has been doing. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Chase, and thank you to everyone for watching this live.
All right. Bye, Niles, and bye, Sasha.